Hi everybody, how you doing today? Are you having a beautiful day? Because if you're not, bam, I'm going to send a beautiful day to you. Yeah. And if you don't get it today, you'll get it in the next few days, I promise. Anyway, I have a new version 2.0 for the custom standard photo setting in your camera. And I'm going to have a tutorial video on it after you get done talking to me here. It'll be next. And then after that, I got some pictures, 4K pictures of some scenic things showing you the custom photo setting, and also the vivid and also scenery. I choose those three because those are pretty much the three that everybody uses. And in this video, I will show you I have used the iDynamic range in this new update version and got rid of the finer settings in the photo settings, where you can go in and change your contrast, your sharpening, your noise reduction, and your saturation. This is a much simpler way, and then if you want to, you can micro set it the way you like it. But I found that this is a simpler way. It's easier. I think it's better. It's an all-around good photo shoot, and you can also do your other photo styles in the program setting, and I'm going to show you how. So anyway, are we helping people? Huh? It's important. Even the darkness needs light, not to take it from you. But even I don't go to dark places. You're just asking for trouble if you do. They bite. I know. Stay out of those places. And work on yourself. Work on loving you more, so that you can share that with others and show them how to love themselves more. This is where the magic happens. Before I even go out and shoot, I do a prayer. And I don't, like I said in my other ones, I don't make a specific exact thing. But one thing I may do is say, okay, today, Father, I would like to see a dragonfly. And you know, I went all day, and sure enough, at the end of the day, here comes that dragonfly. It's those miracles that keep you going back. Get out in nature. Get out in the sun. Interact with the animals, the trees, the flowers. This is good energy. And when you come back, you will feel so much better, because all that negative energy will dissipate off you. Because that's what nature does. It takes that negative energy off. And if you got questions, ask them out there too. But make sure you ask by yourself. This is key, because this will make your soul more beautiful. When you make your own decision by yourself, and it's a good decision, it will grow to produce better things. Being positive always brings more positive. If you're by people that is dark, rude, and rough, that's exactly what you're going to bring to you. What you shine inside is what's going to shine outside of you. You're so very beautiful, beautiful, powerful beings. And these dark ones know when eventually humanity wakes up, they are scared, because they know the power we possess when we are united. And it's already a done deal. They're going down, and they had their chance. they had their chance to change and they choose not to. So this is their path, and let them be. But now let's get on the path of the custom, the standard custom photo setting. This tutorial will show you just how to do it. You can actually, at the end, you can make it a custom setting in the program mode. You just got to go to custom setting in the menu and push it as a program mode. Then that way, whenever you turn your program on, it's already in there. You don't have to go through and change a bunch of stuff. It's just there. And then you can use the other settings, remember the saturation, the sharpness, the contrast, and you can micro adjust that in each photo style from the program mode setting. So, believe in yourselves. Get out there and work that camera, because it's not gonna come alive until you actually start feeding it what you want to see out of it. Just make sure that when you're using your camera, you're looking through the lens of your heart, because that's where true creation comes from. And you'll be amazed at what happens. Please subscribe, share, and like, and have a beautiful day. And thank you so much for all your support. Hi everybody, how you doing today? Well, today I am going to show you a new custom photo setting for your camera. Call it version 2.0. I did one earlier, but I've revised it, and this is the revised 2.0. It is much easier, simpler, and just all around better, I think. So anyway, we're going to turn the camera on here. And this camera's been reset, the factory settings. Now you don't have to do that with yours. You can just do it just how I'm going to show you, okay? Okay, so we're going to press the menu button. And we're going to, I usually go like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters, okay? We're not going to get into the 5th chapter because that has nothing to do with what we're doing today. Matter of fact, I rarely get in there because I don't process raw pictures through here. I do it through my software. But anyway, this will be for JPEG. So we're going to go to photo style, and you're going to go over to where it says custom right here. Click on it, and here you are set up in your custom standard photo style. And what I do here is I bring the sharpening up 1+1. Now in this you can do whatever you want. This is what I call micro adjustments for contrast here, sharpness, noise reduction, and saturation. And you can fine tune each one of these for this custom thing, or if you notice, you can also get to standard. It has custom standard, but you could still customize this too by going into your little micro menu, I call it. You can also do vivid. If it's too rich, you just back off on the saturation. If there's too much contrast, you just minus it here. Or if there's not enough sharpness, you give it 1. Noise reduction, I usually leave that at the 0 point, but you're more than welcome to fiddle with that if you want. I usually don't. I just leave it right where it's at. Because when you start to raise your ISO up and it starts getting darker out, which my ISO on this custom setting is going to be set at 800, from 100 to 800. Anyway, I just want to let you know that you can customize any of the natural, the black and white, the scenery, portrait, You can do all this from the program mode, which is what I'm in right now. We're going to back out of that and out of this. And as you can see, I am into program mode. You are going to put it here. Put it on P, program mode. Okay. Alright, so we're going to go back. I just want to make sure I get this right for you. This isn't one of my best technical videos. So anyway, you see it on the custom one. All I did was give it a 1+, set it, and you're done. On to the next. Now this has 7 pages right here. We're going to start on the first page. And I'm just going to kind of go through here and set this up for you and then explain to you what things you can do if you want to change things. Here I don't mess with anything. Now here you could set it up for 3:4, 3:2, 16:9, or 1:1. I choose the 4:3 because it has the maximum megapixels that you can have. If you do the 16:9, the maximum there is going to be 9. Okay. Anyway, that's what I do. And then of course, here's your. Now here it's only showing 8, but I think in the large this is X. It says EX 8 megapixels. That's a medium size picture. But I'm pretty sure you can go to the LM and it's 9 megapixels. It's been a while since I even messed with this at all. So anyway, we're going to get out of this. This is on just JPEG for you JPEG users. I've been working more and more toward shooting RAW. It's just my new software update makes it really easy to process the RAW pictures. The only thing is it does take up more space on your hard drive. So it's kind of like a trade-off. But truthfully, there's much more bit depth color in a RAW picture than there is in a JPEG picture. Okay? Great. Alright. I'm going to get out of this and go to page 2. This is your autofocus single, and AFF is, let's say you have a moment, maybe you have a little shake in your camera, or things are moving around out there, then you put it in AFF. I usually use the AFS, and then up here is, if you can't really see it, but he says autofocus continuous. That's what I use right here. So it's between AFS and autofocus continuous is what I use. Okay. Meter mode. I usually use the center weight meter mode. Okay. It works the best for me. Maybe if you're doing landscape or something, you might want to do the whole thing. And I've never really done the spot at all. It's maybe for special things. Anyway. So anyway, on to our burst rate. I usually do medium. You can choose whatever you want, but I run in RAW, and if I shoot in high in RAW, she really wants to choke quick. So I do burst, and it just seems to work better for me. That's all. It's a preference or choice what you want to use. Okay. 4K photo, it's just the burst. That's what I use. You can do burst, shutter at start, or stop at record. I don't use these. I just haven't found them to be useful for me. Auto bracketing, sometimes I use it, and that's where you can do your numerous things for auto bracketing. Check it out. see what you think. I play with it. That's what I have played with it, and on certain occasions, but I don't use it very often. Self timer, I leave right where it is. The highlight shadow, I leave right where it is. Now here is where it changes. The eye dynamic, I now run this in auto. And the eye resolution, I either run it extended or standard. But for now, I run it in extended. But you can play around with those if you want, both sides. But this is what I use for mine, for this standard photo setting. Post focus I leave off. On to page 4. HDR, you could try it. It's something that you kind of have to, try and see what you think. HDR is you can set it. I'm not going to get into this. But anyway, multi-exposures, you know what that is. It's taking exposures one on top of the other, and then they're all kind of like in the same picture. Time-lapse shot, that's something if you want to, it's a choice, okay? Preference. I don't ever mess with this. I leave mine on mechanical shutter. You have auto and you have electronic. You can try them. I just know that the electronic shutter, if you're moving and your subject is moving and you're trying to chase after it, it's not going to be a good thing. There's certain situations where electronic does work, but I use the mechanical. Okay, flash I don't mess with. Red eye removal I leave off. Page 6 ISO limit. This is another one that I get to. I set this for 800. So now the camera will choose to go from, while we're here, I'm going to back out of this ISO thing, and we're going to go here, and you're going to go to, up at the top, your ISO. Now you have a couple choices. You have auto, you have intelligent ISO auto, and then of course you have your straight manual one where you just leave it at 100 and it will not change. Okay, I don't use the intelligent auto. It just doesn't seem to work good for me at all. But I do use auto because auto keeps it close to 100 ISO. I would say 75% of the time, depending on how dark of a scene you have to deal with. Say it's really cloudy out, or you're in the woods and it gets kind of really dark, then the ISO is going to raise a little bit. But this, I have never had it go to 800 at all. So it's a choice. You can either set it for 400 or 800, but I use mine at 800 and it's been working out real well for me. Alright, so we're going to get out of that. Now we're going to go back to the menu. So that's why I set mine at 800. ISO increments. I do mine in thirds because I want a finite position. I use this the most. It works the best. Because if you're going one full stop at a time, you will miss that perfect light that you're looking for. It just won't be very good. Okay. Diffraction, compensation. When you're zooming out, I leave this in auto. It's worked for me very good. I've never had a problem with it. And it's hard to tell even with it off or on, so I just leave it in auto. It works for me. I don't do anything here, or here, or there. Stabilizer, it's the same. It's the top one. Unless you're on a tripod, you'll drop it down to the next one. Face recognition, I don't use. Profile setup, I do not use. And here we are back to the main one, custom one. Now we're going to bring it over and take it down to chapter 2. This is the video side of your camera. Alright. It's going to be the same as what you already have, okay? I use no filter, snap movie. Now, this camera was factory reset before I did this, so it would make it easy if you wanted to, say, set your camera up real quick after you had to reset it for some reason. There's been times when I've had to reset the camera because I did something and I screwed it all up. So this will kind of help you get the camera back to normal. Okay. Anyway, we do MP4 on record to record quality. Right now it's set. It comes at 1080p by 1920 by 1080p, and I shoot at 30 frames at 4K. Okay, that's what I shoot at. That's all set. I leave it on AFS. Now the picture mode. Here it's showing the little movie camera. I don't leave it here because I like the photo better. That way, when I do a movie and you move your control here to the movie setting, you can actually set the exposure on that movie setting. Because if you try using the red button, there's nothing you can do. It just goes whatever the camera thinks. You get a much better quality video out of the movie here than you do with that red button. You know, the red video button. Just a little FYI. Okay. Continuous focus is on. Done with page 2. We're going to page 3. Meter mode. Usually what we set in the top one, we'll usually set in your video too. Highlight. I don't get into that. Of course, dynamic is auto. Eye resolution extended. Diffraction. Eye zoom I leave off. Digital zoom I leave off. Conversions I leave off. Oops, I'm sorry. Flicker decrease. I run at 30 frames, so you want to set this for 60. Don't try going higher or lower, because it gets a little weird if you try a 1/20th, okay? I've tried it. Seems to work better. Alright, mic. I usually have my mic on. I use a shotgun mic with a wind muff, a little Comica shotgun mic, or I'm sorry, a Video Pro. It's just a little one. And I usually set it for 3. This works good for me. But each of you will have your own experience with it. Wind noise cancellation, I leave off because I already have a wind muff on it. And when you have that wind muff on, it gets kind of weird. Anyway, that's it for that. Oops, I'm sorry. We're going to go over, because we're done with page 6. Now we're going to go to chapter 3. There is something that we're going to do that I'm going to this custom set memory, we're going to set this after we're all done putting everything in. We're going to come back to that. Okay. Silent mode I leave off. If you put it into silent mode, it will be electronic shutter only. Okay. I leave these exactly where they need to be. Shutter autofocus on. Remember, this is factory reset. I leave that where it is. Quick autofocus. I do turn this on. Okay. Eye sensor. I go in here, and usually they have it set on. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not this one. We're going to continue on. This is the pip. When you do the spot focus point in the camera, from the camera, midpoint meaning you have mid, short, and long. What it does is the screen just stays on longer when you're focusing, when it focuses in on that focus point. One just runs longer, and then you have a mid-range and then a short one. And I do mine short. I don't have to look at it very long to know whether it's done, but I don't use it, truthfully. Okay, I leave that at pip. On to page 3. I leave this on because if you're shooting toward darkness, you will need that. Direct autofocus area I leave off because if you're shooting and you got this facing this way and your nose touches that thing, it's going to set the autofocus point wherever your nose is, so I leave that off. Okay, this I don't mess with. This I do. I turn it on because sometimes I want to do manual focusing. Sometimes I want to put bokeh on something and I need to focus on a certain point. Okay, and then this is the side wheel over here. You have a manual, that little roller wheel, that's for your focus, manual focus is, okay? I leave that at pip. I don't, manual focus guide I leave on, peaking I leave on, histogram I leave off, grid lines I leave off. Remember, everything in here is a choice that you can do yourself. It's a matter of preference. Center marker I leave on so I know where the center of the screen is. Highlights I leave off. Now the zebra pattern. I leave this on. Now you can go in here and you can go and you can set this. Like zebra 1 set at 80%, zebra 2 is set at 2%. I would keep it at 100%. I like to run it at 105%. That way it's extremely close to where you need to be at, and you can finite adjust it from there. But it's your preference. You just kind of play with it. But I say it's going to be between 100 and 105, maybe even 95. It just depends on your style of photography. This is for highlights, okay? That zebra pattern. I leave this off. I leave the constant preview off. Going on to page 6. I leave that on. See, most of these are already set. Matter of fact, this whole page is already set. And onward to page 7. This is already set. That's set. I leave auto. I don't mess with auto review. I don't mess with the function buttons, at least not yet. Side button settings I leave standard. It's the wheel and the whatever. Now this, the zoom lever. You have 2 zoom levers. You have one here on your shutter button, and you also have one over here on the side here. And when you're zooming, it's a rocker switch and it moves back and forth. What I do is I go in here and I pick this one because this is the best of both worlds. You can zoom it that quickly, or you can stop it and just flick it and it'll go to the preceding next zoom position. But you can do both from this position. I'm not sure why they kind of put it in there, but oops. Anyway, let's go down here. We're going to click on that to make sure that is all programmed in there. Now zoom, resume I leave off. I don't, like I said, a lot of these I don't touch, only certain ones. The video button on, the eye sensor. Here it's set for high, so when you go across the front of this, it'll do that. It'll switch over to the, I set mine for low, and that's where I leave it at. Touch settings. Now this is a preference for me. If you could see, it says the touch screen is on, but the touch autofocus I leave off. That's in case your nose rubs up against that screen. You ain't gonna move the focus point. But that's only if you're doing it here. 98% of my shots are through the viewfinder. No doubt about it. Maybe when you're doing landscape or you want to see something like that, then you can use this, the big screen. Alright, scrolling on down. I don't change anything there or there. And now we're going back to the next one, which is chapter 4. As you can see, you can do a reset on the camera from here. I'm sorry, let's take it back to page 1. Clock set, you could set all this up yourself. The only thing that's in here is the monitor display. You can change your colors and so forth. I really haven't done anything here. It does need a little bit of tweaking, but I know how the viewfinder is now, so I know what to look for. But you can play with that. Monitor looms, I leave it in automatic. But if you drop it down to number 3, that's as bright as it goes. Okay? So anyway, that's that. Economy. On this right now, I gotta set it for max because I'm showing you guys through the camera, through the battery. The sleep mode, I personally set up for 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, you'll go to sleep. The auto LVF monitor, I set for 1 minute. This conserves on your batteries, so they last longer. And it does make a difference. So I do the sleep mode in 2 minutes. I do the auto live monitor off in 1 minute. Now, if your camera goes to sleep, all you have to do is just touch that shutter button twice. You're gonna hit it once, it's gonna come on. You hit it again, then it's gonna go into your screen, showing you everything on the screen. That's the only thing that I notice. You can do it once, but I usually tap it twice. Tapping it once will get it on, and then twice will bring all the icons up in your screen when you're looking through there. Alright, let's go on to the next. And that's basically it. Now, we have one more place to go before over here on the side of your camera, you have a little button here. And if you press it, it's the macro mode button. I have found that if you leave it here in the autofocus macro, it works a lot better, and it works for everything. I mean, it's just when you go to focus on insects, I think it focuses better. It gets closer than it being in the off position. But I have always used this position all the time. Okay, there's one last thing to do. Remember I told you we'd have to come back? So what we're going to do is you're going to press your menu. You're going to go back over to, there's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Remember the custom set memory? We're going to go in here and we're going to set this. There's 3 settings. You can do custom 1 or custom 2. Now I did the focus point on custom 1, so I'm going to put this in custom 2. Or you could do it in custom 1 and still retain my best custom focus point, is what I do. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put it in there, save all the settings I just programmed into the program mode on this, go over to yes, and say yes, and you're done. Alright, I think I got everything. So that's the standard custom photo setting for my camera. And you guys can start it there. You can work it any way you want. You got to get out there and shoot pictures. That's how it works. You got to use your camera. You just cannot learn from somebody telling you. But I sure want to say that time that you have to learn from scratch. I mean, I'm here to make your life easier. Like I said, on this too, you can actually going to go over here. I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to go over to the photo style. If you click on that and go up to the custom, which I have it on now, but you can go right to any of your vivid. All these are set in here, and these, like I said, are micro settings that you can adjust the vivid if you want, or you just leave it like it is. You'll have to experiment with it, but it's for everyone. Everyone has their own. If I see I want something to be more vivid, then I'll just come in the menu here and just switch it over to vivid. It's pretty simple. Otherwise, if you're in AI or AI Plus, the camera will choose the scene for you, and it does not always get it right. Anyway, play with them. Take pictures with each one and see what you think. I think my custom setting is a very good all-around setting. It's got good contrast, good saturation. It's got a little bit more sharpening on it, and of course the noise reduction I just leave alone. But it's a really good custom standard photo setting. So all I can say is try it out, see what you think. I think this is a lot better than the first version I had, because the first version I had was I had these all adjusted, and I found that it's better to leave these in that close to center as you can. It really flew too hard one way or the other. That's why I'm coming back and doing this version 2.0. So anyway, I got some pictures to show you what the custom settings are. The custom standard shot, the vivid shot, and the scenery shot, which is I think the three most people use. And I shot the scene each time with a different setting, so you can get an idea of what one you think looks good and what one you like. So these will be following right after this video, and I appreciate all the comments and all the help that you guys give me and feedback. So have a beautiful day and enjoy.